Well, the inside exploded. I got it all pulled apart. It didn't actually explode. Um, so I have the motor out. I have a replacement transmission for it. Have everything removed here. I left as much in the car as I could. Wiring harness is still in there, so I'm glad I didn't have to take that out again. Today I want to show you, since I couldn't really show you after I got it in the car, my accessory belt setup. So the factory setup for the Accord has a power steering pump up here and an AC compressor down here, and my car is not going to use either of those, so I needed a way to run the alternator, the water pump, and that's all I needed for this car because it has electric power steering. So what I did is I got myself a PDF version of the Gates catalog and found a belt with the correct amount of ribs that was the right length, and this just happens to be a 2015 Nissan Versa 1.6 belt. It runs a very short belt. It's the right number of grooves on the belt, and fits just fine. My first try was a supercharger belt from a Thunderbird Super Coupe, and that was a little bit too short, so I came up with this one, which is just a touch longer, and it seems to work fine. The key to getting this to work is right down here. This is the original Insight tensioner. So it's got this little bolt here. You loosen this and you can adjust the position of this pulley by adjusting this, and then you tighten this back down and it holds it. And then this is a upper pulley, the one that's up here on an EP3, so like a 02 to 05 Civic Si. I had this because I had a EP3 that ate the bearing, and I replaced the bearing in this, and I had this laying around, so I used this for the idler. And then I built, let's see if I have a light so you can actually see my handiwork under here. And I just built a bracket that bolts on to some of the existing holes, and you can see it there. I didn't have my new welder at that point, so it's stick welded, some classy stuff. But it works fine, and the key is I just eyeballed it and got it straight enough. So that's my budget AC and power steering delete setup for this Insight, and that's where I'm at. Is there anything else interesting that I could show you? Last time I said I was going to take both the transmissions apart and show you the difference. I'm not pulling the new transmission apart. I want to get this thing back together. I'm going to take that old one out, put it off to the side, put the new one in, slam this all back together. My goal is to get it running for an autocross either May 1st or May 15th. So I want to have my tuning done. Everything's got to be put back together by that time. So I don't want to waste a bunch of time pulling gearboxes apart if I don't have to. Hopefully I don't have to. And I wanted to show you my axles since I've got them laying here. So here's the sleeved axle that I covered previously. And here's the Civic Hybrid axle, just stock Civic 03 to 05 Civic Hybrid manual, I think, axle that I'm using on the passenger side, so driver side, passenger side. The thing that is not great about this axle, and I didn't realize it till I thought about it later, is it has this little tiny, see the outer CV joints look to be about the same, but this inner joint on the passenger side is really small. And you can buy a replacement that has a bigger joint, but that's not the one that I bought. So this is what I have. See, these are very similar in length. but we got the wrong splines over here. So at some point I want to replace this. We'll see if I get around to doing that. But it's all going back together the way it is for now. It's a light car, doesn't have a ton of power, so I'm hoping that it'll work for a while. So hopefully the next time you see this, gearbox will be at least off, and then I'm going to slam the new one on and get this thing back together hopefully.